Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dan Greer with Eclipse UT, and today we're out having a lot of fun. And I was just like sitting here, kind of chilling, go over a bunch of stuff. And I was thinking, we were talking a little bit about driver compliance. And I said yesterday I was going to tell you guys about the driver file and the driver application. And so I was like, oh, let's go over the driver application. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit. What has to be in the driver's application? Well, you've got to have the company name in the driver's application. You've got to have the company address in the driver's application. You got to have the employee's name, the employee's address, where they've lived for the last 3 years, their driver's license number, the expiration date of the driver's license, the class, any endorsements or restrictions. You've got to have any experience they have driving. You've got to have previous work experience. And what I mean by previous work experience is where they've worked. If they're a CDL driver, you got to have 10 years without any gaps. Now, if they have gaps, you just have to document those gaps, like unemployed, going to school, whatever, right? But you have to document that stuff. If they're a non-CDL commercial driver, and I've got another video on that, so y'all should check that one out. They've only got to have 3 years of previous work experience. Okay. Now, there's a few things that every employer has to have on it for that previous work experience. You have to have the employer's name. You have to have their location, the city and state. You have to have reason for leaving, like why they left the job. Were they terminated? Did they quit? Did they get fired? Whatever they put in there, right? Like, you're not actually going to verify that that's 100% correct. A good employer does, but you're not actually going to have to do that by federal law. The next thing that you're checking with that, they've got to have two other questions on there. Was this job FMCSR, like were you regulated by federal motor carrier regulations? Number one. Number two, were you subject to Part 40 of the drug testing rules? That means, like, were you under drug testing? Did you work for the Coast Guard? Were you PHMSA? Were you driving a truck? Whatever, FMCSA. So that's those two questions. Now, the last thing you gotta have for every single employer is this. You've got to have the start date and end date. Now, that's not like the exact date, November 1st, 1986. Whatever, that's not what it is. It's actually the month and year that they started and the month and year that they ended, okay? That's all you're after, is those things for that. Now, you also got to have the driver statement in there saying that everything is true, correct, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. All that good stuff. And then the last thing you got to have is the driver's signature, okay? I'm thinking, did I miss anything here? Let me go through this. Okay, we've got employer name, employer address, driver name, driver address, driver date of birth. Oh, it might not have said that one. Driver's license number, class of license, endorsements, restrictions, any driving experience. You're asking them if their license has ever been suspended or revoked, a few other questions like that are on there. You've got to have employment history. And then the last thing you've got to have in the driver's application itself is a statement, as well as their signature. All right, guys, that's it. We'll chat with you later. Bye.